Good Saturday morning. This is Matthew again. These are great sayings. Okay, I got very personal on all these things. I hope it's okay. I don't know. I better listen to them. If they're not too good, I better delete them. But I guess they're okay. You got to tell me if you think I get out of line. You got to tell me. Okay, we got a deal. Whoever watching this thing. Said the disciples of John. He was a tough cookie. Okay, he was his cousin, but he was a tough cookie. He approached Jesus and said, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast much, and your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered, "Can the wedding guests mourn as long as the bridegroom's with them? Days will come when the bridegroom is taken away, and then they will fast." And we all have, of course, all right? This is the key. This is the good stuff. This is what really follows. No one patches an old cloak with a piece of unshrunken cloth, for its fullness pulls away from the cloak, and the tear gets worse. People do not put new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the skin bursts, the wine spill out, and skins are ruined. Rather, they pour new wine into fresh wineskins. Both are preserved. That's really interesting. Say, can you pour Christianity back into the Mosaic law? No, you can't. You can't. I imagine St. Matthew was struggling with those in the church of his time, the Jewish Christians at his time, who wanted to go back and pour new wine, the new wine of the faith, into the old wineskin, which was the Mosaic law. And of course, St. Paul said, you can't do that. It's over. And this is St. Matthew's way of putting it. It's our Lord saying it, but Matthew using that text. Okay, I'm sure that's what he's doing. Okay, I don't know anything about shrunken or unshrunken cloth, but there is a powerful thing: you can't go backwards. You draw from the past, the wisdom of the past, but you can't repeat the past. You can't go backwards. That's a powerful lesson. That's a true lesson. Sometimes I worry, being honest with you, I worry a little bit because there's a sense in which you could look back at a certain period. I could look back at the order and say, gee, that was a powerful period, those years in which we lived a full-blown monasticism. And that was what brought me into the church. But could I ever live it again? Not a chance. No, I know I can't. But should we, anyone, live it the way we did? The life of the order moved past that, in its self-creativity and under grace and with the blessings of the church, he moves forward. You see, can you say, let's go back to the good old days? Let's go back to that kind of conventional life? No, but you can. No, you can't. But you could draw some of the wisdom from it, and draw what is applicable in the new world. The world we are called the post-Vatican II Church. We draw. There's a saying: if you forget the past, you're condemned to repeat it. Okay, I think Santayana said that. So you can draw. There is wisdom in the knowledge of the past. You can't discard the past, but what you can't do is go back to it. See, you can't go back to it, but you can draw from it in creating a new and vibrant future. When I think of our young guys, I think of that we have so few in the order that are young, but they're Caribbeans. Most of them are Caribbeans. They're young. Most of our guys of our generation is old. And you see, I think that the passion is we're going to move into a very, very starkly different future. Very, I hope, vibrantly alive. I believe in it. See? But when I say to the young guys, lead, don't follow. We're old. Lead. Draw from us whatever wisdom we possess, but imagine and lead. Use your imagination. What do you think this thing of ours should look like? Imagine it and pursue it. Draw the wisdom of the past from the wisdom of the past, but don't try to repeat it. Do it your way. Frankie Sinatra, my way. Do it your way. You're called to tomorrow. You're not called to yesterday. You see? Lead. And if we can help you, if we can shed some wisdom, draw the wisdom from the past. Draw from our experience, but forge it anew. I tell that to my kids in class all the time. You draw from the past, but create the world. You are the leaders of tomorrow. Lead. That's what I tell them. Lead. It's your world. The 21st century is your century. The next 80 years, you will shape the destiny of the nation and the culture. Lead it wisely, but lead it. Draw from the wisdom of the past. That's why we teach philosophy and history and English and theology. Draw from the wisdom of the past. Draw heavily from it, only to create tomorrow, not to repeat yesterday. Sometimes a little bit antsy, and some of the seminarians have told me this, that apparently there's some seminarians that want to replicate the 50s and the 40s. They see that perhaps as a better period in the life of the church. I can't imagine anything so unwise, to be honest about it. You can't go back to yesterday, but you can draw from yesterday. You have to create with imagination what the church should look like tomorrow. Christ calls us. He says, follow me. He didn't say go back. And you can see in Matthew's gospel how powerful it is in Matthew's gospel. You can't pour new wine into old wineskins. I don't know why you can't, but you can't. He said so, I believe it. But you can learn from it. So you can learn from the past, derive from the past, but create the future. Create it. Don't replicate, recreate it. See? I think that is powerfully true. I think that's true of the order. Frankly, you want to be blunt, I think where most of my passionate vocations, our passionate vocations are coming from are China and Vietnam, Asia, Southeast Asia. They're not going to look like Romans. They're not going to look European. They're not going to look American in the sense, not physically, I'm saying, but culturally. They're going to bring Chinese, Vietnamese culture. That's where it's going to be dynamic. African culture. They're going to turn them into little Romans or little Italians or little Americans. They're not. They're going to be They're going to be Chinese Christians, Chinese Catholics. They're going to be Vietnamese Catholics and Indian Catholics. I'm willing to bet in the next 10 years, the next 15 years, that not this Pope may be coming up, but maybe. But I bet you at least the Pope next to the next one will be Chinese or Asian or African. You won't see another European Pope, and I doubt you'll see an American Pope. It's going to be Asian. That's tomorrow. It's going to have its own dynamism to it. It will draw from the theological and the existential experience of life in the church from the West. It'll draw its wisdom in a sense, as the nutrient of the plant. They'll draw from it, but it'll be the plant itself. Church is in a very dynamic moment. This is the greatest moment since the 4th century. When it went Roman, now it goes global. And it's going to be led, in my view, by the Asians and the Africans. Yeah, South Americans. It already is, for instance, South America. The next 100 years, the missionary lands of the world will be Asia and America. Be Europe and America. That will be the missionary countries. In other words, the missionaries are going to come here. They already are. To redeem us from ourselves. To re-evangelize the West. John the 23rd saw that. He saw that the West needed to be re-evangelized. I don't think America does, but it could. If we keep selling out our Christian roots, we will. But Asia's fresh. Africa, Asia, Vietnam, India, the world. We're going into the global community. The church is global. She'll learn from our past, draw from it, but she will put the wine of tomorrow into fresh wineskins. I think they're going to look Chinese. We'll see. I don't know. I'll be dead. But that's tomorrow.